What's up, Holloway gang? Thank you so much for joining us for yet another episode. This is going to be episode 6, if you can believe it. Thank you for joining our podcast. We are Let Me Holla at You. This is my lovely co-host, Trey. And of course, I'm Katya. We're the Holloways. When we talk about real love, real life, real relationships, real laughs, real story, real everything. That's where we get now. We talk about the real. And today, it's going to be no different. So anyway.
Real quick, hold on. Let me holler at you.
Y'all, of course, like we already said, and as per usual, we're going to be starting off with our story of the week. This one we actually got in from one of our listeners, so thank you for sharing. And this is actually relating back to our love languages episode. So there's not much to necessarily react to, but it is a super sweet, cute story, and they went ahead and put it in our comments, and so we're going to go ahead and share it with you guys to start us off with this episode today.
I'm excited.
Yeah. So this is actually a comment that we got on our YouTube, and this is their story. So they say, I don't know how to do some of these messages, so I'm just going to write a comment on here for you. My husband and I will be together for 34 years married, coming up right before, coming up right before their anniversary, and about 39 to 40 years in total together. Wow. So married a long time, been together even longer. Love it. We got together when I was 18. He was 21. Now we'll be 55 this year, and he will be 58. Yay! Okay. Shout out to y'all.
Oh, yes, a full life.
Really? And that was their timeline. It says, our love languages have changed a lot over the years, though just the two of us, with children, and then back to the two of them. So they started off the two of them. Obviously, they had kids, had children, and now they're back to the two of them. So children have flown the nest.
Yes.
She said many physical and health changes as well. One thing, though, that has never changed is I love you. Mm-hmm. So every call ends that way, no matter how good or bad. Also, if one of us is leaving, as in like the same location, like the home, for example, even if we had a disagreement or something bad or just not so favorable moments leading up to the departure, it's always ended with, I love you. I have been known to say, I love you too, but I don't like you right now. And that's okay, though. A relationship over the years, you fall in and out of love, in lust, out of lust, in like and out of like. As long as you always have love for each other and love each other, it will conquer all of the other. It will always bring you back, and the things you feel are important in a relationship will change as well. But keep the love there, and all will be okay.
I love that.
I do too. So it sounds like basically that word of affirmation that I love you no matter what's going on is their love language that has held them together all those years. So right. Shout out to you guys so much, and thank you for sharing that story. That was absolutely adorable. Congratulations. I'm assuming that your anniversary has happened since you said you're running up on it, or if it's not there, congratulations anyway, because we're around it. Speaking of anniversaries, Holloway gang, our first year anniversary is coming up.
Holloway gang. Anyway, it's gonna be our new symbol, the Holloway symbol, the H.
Holloway. What about this one?
Ooh, we can do that. I like that. Yeah.
Boom. Yeah. That. Okay, so we got a new symbol for y'all, Holloway gang. Okay. That's a little clip for our YouTubers. If you're watching, we just made a little hand signal. You know what I'm saying? It was really cool, actually, and kind of lame, but still so cool at the same time.
Ooh, real quick, before we change gears, I do want to say, for you guys to be, older than us and have a more established relationship, thank you so much for choosing to listen to our podcast and giving us a look. And for it to come from our YouTube, that means you're watching it as well. So thank you so much for that. We appreciate it. You're always welcome here. This is a safe place to always send your stories in, or if you just have any advice or something that we might have missed that you feel like is an important point, we want to please let us know. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
We want to know. But thank you so much for just watching and paying attention and being in the loop. I appreciate that.
Yes, we very much appreciate it. But again, going back, our anniversary is on February 17th. Coming up on next Monday. So yeah, we're getting there. Or this upcoming Monday, I guess. We're dropping. Yeah.
One.
Anyway, yeah, it's gonna be our first year anniversary. So we'll let you guys in and let you kind of know what we do. Maybe the story of the week in the beginning will be our little story of what we did for our anniversary. You know, so that'd be fun. Anyway, though, enough about us. Even though we're super excited, or at least I am. No, I'm playing.
Yes.
Super excited. But we're gonna go ahead and jump into today's episode. Uh, we are diving in, y'all, to unpopular opinions and hot takes. I'm talking
Juicy. Juicy.
okay, hot, hot. Takes.
Don't hate me. It's my opinion, so it's justified because it's for me.
That part. No. But we're gonna go ahead and jump on in. This entire episode, all the unpopular opinions or hot takes are ones that we have researched or have of our own, or they are actually also from listeners and friends and like whoever has been bringing them in. Because of course, I did a poll, like I said, every Friday on our social media pages, and so we got actually some really good ones from you guys. Warning: not all of these are relationship. Like, there's a good mix of like most of them are actually just very much like life ones, but then there's like a good mix of little relationship ones mixed in. So this is going to be very much kind of jump around,
Yes,
random. So the first one, splitting bills is a must.
would you like to go first, or shall I elaborate on this first?
I mean, mine's short and sweet. I think it really depends, and this obviously sounds like it's more of a relationship setting.
Right.
I really think it just depends on your dynamic, because we've said this so many times, but dynamics and how people work in relationships or what they bring to the table is so different depending on, you know, each relationship. So like in our case, I'll just go ahead and say like we split bills, but like that's something that we chose to do that we've talked about. Or and there's even sometimes where like, you know, I might do something of more here or you might do something more of there. And it's one of those things where it's like we just it works for us and how we outweigh different things.
Mm-hmm.
But like I mean, there's some men that would love to be providers of their home and have their wives stay at home, maybe work, stay at home moms or wives. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and obviously, like, doesn't, well, hopefully, you know, usually how it works is he does not expect her to pay any of the bills. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
so I think it really just kind of comes down to like your situation and what you value. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Also, too, when you're in a household that you guys make different incomes,
Mm-hmm.
that's a big role too. Because if you're, for example, living outside of the means of one of the partner's incomes, you can't expect them to be 100% splitting bills half and half.
True.
When you're living outside of their means. So,
right.
Unless you're living within the lowest income person's means, then you can't expect them to be splitting. I mean, you can split, but not necessarily 50-50. It might need to be 60-40, 70-30, whatever. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's just my take. Is like, honestly, it really depends on dynamics, and that's that.
Right. I 100% agree with you, but I also think it depends on, I think another factor for me is like where you are in the relationship. Because there's, for instance, like we've read a couple stories here or there where like someone has come into a relationship or two really established people individually meet each other and they come together, and then like there's this power struggle of who she's used to doing her own thing, taking care of herself, he used to doing the same thing. There's also a power struggle in who is going to take over these things now. Sometimes when in all actuality both of you are doing well, it shouldn't matter. Like as long as everything's gonna get paid, we're gonna have money to do extra stuff. Like everybody's doing what they got to do. We just got to make sure that okay, well, whatever we split this and break this down to, you're covering your end of the bargain. I'm there to pick it up when you're not able to, if something comes up, and vice versa. My biggest thing is I 100% agree with, especially if depending on where your relationship is. If you're a newer relationship and y'all are still grinding to figure out where your life is going and the type of that you want to be, I think 100% every relationship should be a partnership. And I think that in most things, you should be trying to split the load or divide the load in most life things if you're choosing to do life together.
All right, ready for our next one? This one is that jealousy is healthy. Do you need a moment on that one? Because I kind of know mine.
Go ahead.
Okay. So the unpopular opinion itself is that jealousy is healthy. I, for the most part, do not agree with this. I think, I don't want to say competition, because I don't like that either. Like, you shouldn't be competing in a relationship. But I feel like jealousy itself is not a healthy trait, but I don't think it's like, I think jealousy is more of an internal thing that you have to deal with. And this kind of relates back on our toxicity episode is like, if you're jealous of something, that's not somebody else's problem. That's actually a problem within you that you should like look internally for. You know what I'm saying? Like, because if I see my husband talking to literally anybody of the opposite sex, am I jealous that he is? Or is it just, you know what I'm saying? Like, or would I be fine with it? Like, I would be fine with it. But it's like, why are you getting jealous because they are? Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's more of an internal thing. And I don't think it's necessarily healthy because it'll create issues in the relationship. Now, granted, I do understand the whole other side of it, which kind of like my book talk brain. So anyone that's, loves books and, is on book talk, you kind of get where I'm coming from. Is I'm kind of like, okay, I see how people might think it's attractive almost because, and why it could possibly be healthy is because they feel like their partner's like cares that they should get their attention. Does that make sense? So regularly and honestly, no, like that jealousy is not healthy, okay? But at the same time, I do understand where people are coming from with it, so I can't like necessarily be mad at it.
I feel like I definitely agree in that being jealous of something is definitely an insecurity of said person. But I think that there's also, I mean, like with everything, there's levels to it. I mean, there's certain situations that change. Like, for instance, like you brought up me talking to another woman. If I'm talking to another woman, there are certain signs of that you notice, like the way I talk to you, or if there's like a flirty nature or certain actions that are being shown that causes you to be jealous when normally you would just it would kind of brush off you.
Very true.
But you're peeping something and it's drawing that reaction out of you. And this could be unwarranted. Like it's not like you're creating it. It could just be like all of a sudden now it's like you're looking at this conversation and who I'm talking to a little bit differently. Yeah. So I think like with that aspect of it, like if there's jealousy in that type of situation, then it's not 100% wrong or unwarranted because it's like, okay, I do notice this thing, and maybe, and it also depends on how the other person takes it as well. Because if they just, if they don't feel like they were being, flirty or doing something weird, then it's like, bro, like you're making something out of nothing. Especially if they don't notice it right away. But 100%, I believe that in a healthy relationship, jealousy wouldn't really be.
It shouldn't be consistent.
Yeah, it shouldn't be consistent.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm coming from.
Because you should deal with those insecurities and you shouldn't have insecurities within your relationship. You should at least feel content in knowing that, saying you're together with your partner, like, and everything's exactly where it needs to be. Of course, not to be naive, but at the same time, it's just like you shouldn't just be finding things just automatically to be jealous about unless, saying something triggers you in a past experience or like, oh, well, my ex was totally, when I got this feeling, he was totally cheating. You know what I'm saying? So now you see me do this and it's like, you're cheating too automatically when that may not be the case, or it could be planning to cheat and they ain't got there yet. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely could see both sides of it, but I don't think that it should just be 100% given
healthy or non-healthy.
Healthy, or non-healthy. I think it should be kind of like a middle ground depending on how the jealousy presents itself.
True, okay. See, we always got the person on one side usually, and the one that can see it from both sides. Like, very much showing right now. Our colors are showing, but I love it. Okay, so my next one, unpopular opinion: you don't have to be best friends with your partner.
I agree with that. Okay. My biggest point to agree with that is, for instance, you have a best friend, and that's your best friend. That has been your best friend since you were little, you know what I'm saying? Young. And so there are experiences that you two have had together and things that y'all have been through that I was not even there for to go through that obviously would make you guys grow closer together. So I would honestly be okay with like, if I wasn't like on paper your best friend, you know what I'm saying? Especially if you have something like a long-term or a lifelong friend that has been there through pretty much everything, you know what I'm saying? Now, one thing I think you do a really good job of is I'm always included because we all get along with each other and like we all like hanging out with each other.
Yeah, that was a
so like so like I think that's the cool part about it is like me knowing like I think we consider ourselves best friends because we spend the most time with each other and we talk to each other all the time. I know I can go to you about anything. We have fun together. But I honestly think you can have more than one best friend, and you can have more than one best friend in different categories. Yeah. Of course, we're married, so us being best friends means something different than you being best friends with somebody who is outside of our relationship.
Yes.
So I definitely agree with the sense that you can have a best friend that isn't your partner. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I like because it says you don't have to be best friends with your partner, which I agree with, but I don't agree with at the same time. And if anything, I'm actually on the opposite side of it a little bit because I feel like if you're in a like relationship where you really love someone and care for someone, yes, it's on a romantic level, but that person should still be like one of your best friends. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like for me, it's like not that I can't separate it, but like when I think of like my best friend or best friends, I think of like they're on my family level almost. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so it's kind of like that, or at least for me. So that's why I'm kind of like, well, no, you don't have to be. I guess it's like, it's not like I have to label you as my best friend, but because honestly, let's be real, like, I just obviously your label for me is, oh, that's my husband. You know what I mean? Or that's my partner, whatever. And then like my best friend has just the label of, oh, that's my best friend, or she's like my sister, basically. You know what I mean? Like, so there's different like labels I'll tell people, but in reality, like you are one of my best friends. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, you don't have to be, but it's like, are you actually in love at that point? I mean, I tell my best friends I love you.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I literally will hang up the phone. I love you, and if they don't say I love you, I'll be like, bitch, I said I love you. Like,
And I think there's something to be said too, like having that best friend outside the relationship, because there's certain like superficial conversations that, yeah, you can come home and talk to me about it, and like
Right.
I would listen to you, and I would totally be involved in the conversation, but it might not be
mm-hmm.
as meaningful of the conversation that you might need about that particular issue because I don't see it in that same light.
Right.
Versus like you having that best friend that you can talk to about those things outside of our relationship. Now anything major of in life or major in our relationship, yeah, I would 100% rather you
Right.
come and talk to me. You know what I'm saying? Because this is our life and this is a big moment for you. But if it's small, you know what I'm saying? Like, girl, you won't believe what happened to me today. It's good to have that person outside our relationship that you can go to have the conversation to. Because I feel like a lot of times, and just this will be my last point, a lot of times too, like with couples that have been together for years, I think a lot of times, like you've seen those older couples where like one person's talking, but the other one's definitely like he's like, yeah, yeah, for sure, but he's not there for real. Like he's just like being that listening
He's
ear.
letting you be that, yeah.
But after being together for so many years, I can see that being like, you never listen to me. You never hear. I am listening. You talking about Sheila and how she slammed the door weird or something. You know, like
yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I feel like it can
kind of
help
like
your relationship dynamic because it's like, okay, you know the difference between a meaningful conversation with your loved one and then like, okay, a conversation with just like your best friend.
So I see what you're saying, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why you're like, okay.
Yeah.
You might have changed my opinion a little bit on the unpopular opinion a little bit. But anyway, also while we're on the topic of best friends, shout out my bestie. Okay, you know who you are. Anyway, thanks. Moving along. So what's the next one? Ooh, okay, ready?
Yeah.
Unpopular opinion. Weddings are annoying.
100%. Whether you planning it, whether you going to, depending on the wedding you going to, yeah, weddings are annoying. Yeah, I feel like every time, like there's like one. We've been to how many weddings there? Two.
You and I together?
Yeah, like 2, 3.
Honestly, only like 2. We haven't actually been to a lot together.
Okay.
Well, are we including our own?
No, not
okay.
That's a whole. You see how I did that separate. I said, whether if you're planning it or going to one, they're annoying, and I'm about to label how completely different annoyings they are. For the separate part of it, I love love. I love watching people that I know and who I saw the relationship. Because 2 weddings that we went to, like we were actually friends with them, and like we saw their relationship.
It was beautiful to see.
We got to be around. That's a beautiful moment. I think what can make a wedding annoying if you're going to one is I think a lot of times like people on a certain level, whether it's like professional or it's like when I go to this place I always see you or something like that, but you don't necessarily know like how they view their lives or like intimate moments. So like nothing against these type of weddings, but I'm not a big barn type of person. You know what I'm saying? So like going to a wedding that is in a barn, and also depending on the time of year it is, like it's real cold and it's wet. You know what I'm saying? And we got to get a hotel, and I got to figure out what we're gonna wear, and we got to somewhat coordinate because we're a couple. Those to me can be annoying because especially the older I get, the more chill I am, and I just like to kind of just go be myself and like experience the thing and go home. But when it starts to become like I got to plan this, and you got to take time, and you got to drive and drive back, and then you don't know what you're walking into because the type of person that you are with your family may not always be the type of person that you are with your friends. So now I'm here and I know you as one person or one way, but then like I'm seeing all this stuff, I'm like, okay, you kind of get awkward, and then like with the married couple, the family kind of takes precedence at a wedding. Yeah. So you don't really get to see and hang out with your friend that's getting married as much as you would want to, which is fine because the wedding is about them and their partnership and stuff. Yeah. But it's just like a lot of those dynamics that kind of come into play, and then
I think so. I'm actually a little bit on the opposite side of it. Yes, I see why weddings could be annoying, but I think just kind of the social butterfly in me a little bit. For me, I was very much like, I was happy to actually watch. I'm very much a people watcher too. So that's why sometimes maybe it outweighs the kind of annoyances that could come with it. Is one, I'm social. I can pretty much talk to anyone. Even if I go alone, I'll find someone I can talk to and I'll go dance and do my own thing because that's just me. I'll go do my own thing. That's another thing. Two, I love to dress up. Like, if you give me an occasion to dress up, I'm going all out. I will be overdressed. Love doing it. Anyway, moving on. So, what I say, social, love to dance. I will overdress because I love dressing up. And then also too, especially if I'm going with you, like I love spending just time with you, especially around like other lovey kind of stuff, because like that gives us the perfect excuse to, try out some new dance moves and just have some fun and what I'm saying, enjoy and
Mhm.
whatever. Like kind of like almost I don't say classy party scene, but almost like a classy party a little bit. Because I mean, some weddings, they can get raunchy anyway, what I'm saying? But those are
Right.
fun. Like those are great. So anyway, that's why I don't think they're that annoying, just because it is a lot of fun for me. But at the same time, I mean, I really do see where the annoyances come from. So now I'm gonna go ahead and move on to kind of, but the last few were kind of a little bit relationshipy. I'm gonna kind of jump down to someone that's not. So unpopular opinion: ketchup should be cold. I think it should be. I feel like for whatever reason in my brain, I can't fathom that ketchup stays good being warm. But I mean, I get it a little bit. It's like a condiment. But isn't it made with tomatoes? I mean, because you add so much sugar, just does it take it away the fact that it's not gonna go bad? Because tomatoes will go bad if you leave them out. But like, isn't it made with tomatoes and sugar?
So I feel like, okay, I have 2 points on this. I feel like if you're going to like compare whether a food how it should be stored, I think there only should be really two reasons that come into play. One, it tastes better one way or the other, and or two, it goes bad faster one way or the other. I've had ketchup warm and cold, and I don't in my brain right now. I'm not thinking of like a major difference. And I
No,
also
yeah,
I'm not familiar with the normal shelf life of like just regular ketchup,
ketchup,
whether it
yeah.
lasts longer cold. I will say though, growing up, there's probably been ketchup in our fridge for months and we just use it, not even thinking about, what I'm saying, how long it's been in there.
I mean, doesn't
Because
it
ketchup
say?
takes a long time to use because they put it in a pretty big bottle and we're not eating ketchup every day, like not in massive quantities like that. So like it's like you always have ketchup, but I feel like if it's in the fridge, it's always good.
You know what, y'all?
Like
I
there's
don't
no
think you
telling.
see this, but I'm literally looking up how
I
long
probably
ketchup
had
stays
six
good because
month
I'm
to a
curious.
year old ketchup before and not even realize because you can store it for so long and it's hard to tell when it's bad.
Oh, okay. So I had a point. I had a point. Unopened ketchup. Oh wait, hold on. Not unopened. We're gonna go to opened. Hold on. Okay. Once opened, ketchup stays good for about 1 month at room temperature. But in the fridge, 6 to 12 months.
Exactly.
So that makes sense why I was saying for me, I couldn't fathom it just staying good for that long, not being in the fridge.
Yeah.
Okay, my brain was braining.
Now, if you're complete now, if I'm talking complete like childhood, like we've always stored ketchup in the fridge. We've never stored ketchup
Yeah, we
like
did
on
too.
the counter. Like it was always in the fridge. If anything, mustard might be the one left out on the counter. Just mustard. Nobody really eats mustard like that. So the ketchup is the one that's normally in the fridge, and that's the saving grace.
Right.
So yeah, I agree. I mean, I think it should be cold. By that, and that logic made it make sense. So
Perfect. We got that one. Good job. Good job. Good job. All right. Next. Okay, I like this one a lot. I'm sorry, unpopular opinion. Self-care doesn't always mean pampering.
oh yeah, 100%. I self care myself probably I say 2 times a month, and it ain't got nothing to do with pamper. If anything, the reason why I probably would do it more than twice a month if it just didn't feel like work, but it just feels like work to me. Like what that means is on a Sunday before my week starts again, I take maybe an hour or two in the bathroom, and I'll focus on grooming. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times I let
Mm-hmm.
my beard grow out because I get the razor bumps, but
Yeah.
I'll focus on grooming, making sure my nails are trimmed short and my hands look presentable. I do a lot of work with my hands, so I always make sure my hands look good. Make sure I wash my hair. You know what I'm saying? Probably wash my hair more than twice a month, but I make there's a certain way that I wash my hair, depending on if I just got a fresh cut or not, and I want the wave. So, and that's a longer process.
Thing, yeah.
That takes a longer time, and I dread it sometimes. It takes forever, but I put music on, make it a vibe. But that is, to me, that's not pampering. Like, to me, that's just taking the time that I don't feel like I normally have to just take care of my normal hygienic stuff. Like,
well, and honestly, some of that stuff's not even fun. Like, self-care is not always fun. Like, plucking my eyebrows is not just fun, or waxing, or whatever you do. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not fun. It's just, that's what you do to self-care. Like,
yeah. Like,
so I fully
self-care.
agree.
It's not pampering to me is like two people, one person got 1 foot each, another 2 people got 2 hands, one person holding the wine and pointing back for me. I got somebody, spraying mist and air, and some woman rubbing my arms down. Like, I got, like, that's how I picture pampering. Like, if you go pampering is different,
This man said spraying the mist in the air.
Yeah, spraying the mist in the air to keep the aroma in a certain level, the feng shui. Like, that is what I view as pampering. And, like, let's be honest, man, who got time to do that all the time? No, it's just, it is that self-care does not always mean pampering, bro. And then I'm gonna make this quick PSA. Men, just because we're men, and yes, we sometimes have dirty jobs, and yes, we got to be strong and doing all this other stuff. Bro, it's okay to have a face routine before you go to bed. It's okay to have a face routine in the morning. It's okay to take care of your skin. It's definitely okay to smell good. I don't understand any man out here that is okay with being musty. Bro, there's no girl. I've never met any girl nowhere on the planet that is okay with that and wants to smell that, bro. And if you are with a girl that's like that, bro, you got the wrong woman. Like, bro, that is not, unless it's like a cultural thing. Like, I'm not trying to judge on that aspect. But from my regular American experience and how I view life, I think, men, we should take care of yourself, and you shouldn't be smelling all nasty when you out in public. Unless you just had a long day. But you go home and you re-clean up,
A little nod to last week's episode. Take care of yourself before you wreck yourself, too. Okay. Because I fully agree. We don't need no smelly people out here. Okay. Next one, and I feel very strongly about this one. Well, not that strongly, but strongly enough. Unpopular opinion. For Thanksgiving, you should have ham instead of turkey. I'm going to go ahead and jump right on in because I have a strong opinion. So, first and foremost, I don't care how good of a cook you are. I don't care how you cook the dang turkey. Turkey is a dry meat, okay? You can baste it every minute, every 30 seconds, every 2 minutes. I don't care. You can put it in the oven. You can fry it. I don't care what you do to this turkey. It will always come out dry, even if it's underdone, because turkey is a dry meat, okay? I will 100% back having ham because ham is juicy and flavorful, okay? That's really all I have to say about that. But you know what? Hate me if you want. I don't need the gravy on my turkey, okay? I can make gravy and put it on my ham if I really want to. Ham tastes better than turkey, and it's juicy, and it comes out better seasoned than turkey does. Point made. I agree with the unpopular opinion, and I'm with you.
Okay, so in my family, growing up, we always had turkey.
We did too.
And ham. It was always either both. Yeah, I feel like we always have both. Like, it's always like a ham and a turkey option because, not everybody prefers turkey. Some people prefer ham, just depending on the time of the month. I think it also depends on what you cook for the holiday. What are you talking about? Thanksgiving in particular?
Thanksgiving in particular, yeah. Because
it also depends on what you want to do for Christmas. Because a lot of times a person will choose the opposite meat because they know they're going to cook the other one.
Well, it depends on what your family does, I guess. Because if you do it traditionally, then usually people have ham on Christmas and Easter, and then turkey on Thanksgiving.
Okay.
So, and that's just traditional. I mean, obviously people do their own thing, or
Thanksgiving we normally have both. Like, I mean, and how it works in my family even today, like, everybody has their own family. So if at your house you cook a turkey, when you go to see grandma in grandma's house, grandma gonna have a turkey and a ham. Like, that's just how grandma always did it. She always did both meats, and probably because of that. And we would eat turkey on the plate and ham on the plate. We eat both of them together. And it's kind of funny. I don't think I've ever seen a debate about ham or turkey. It's just like whatever you prefer.
There's definitely a debate out there. Okay. Yeah, there's definitely a debate.
Well, if I have to choose an opinion, because we're doing unpopular opinions, I like turkey. I like turkey, but I also like ham, so I can't pick one over the other. But
you have to.
Turkey.
Which one?
I like turkey.
Wrong.
I like turkey. I've had some moist turkey.
Not playing.
It does have a dry texture to it. Still, I do agree with it. It does have a dry texture.
It's
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
I will say shout out to, was it your dad? I think.
Yes.
Shout out to my husband,
Pops!
my father-in-law.
Daddy-o!
Shout out to him, because he, I think, cooked and again, it was still dry, but not because of the cooking. Like, to me, turkey is just dry, but the best turkey that I've had. Like, and I will eat turkey. Okay, I grew up in a family where we only did the turkey on Thanksgiving because like we had ham on all the other holidays. Okay, so I ate the turkey. It's not like I wouldn't eat it. Okay, like I didn't grow up in that kind of family. Anyway, and then you put gravy on it. It's fine. You know what I mean? You get over it. However, if I had the choice, yeah, ham is definitely it. But again, shout out to father-in-law because, like I said, he had like the best turkey I think I've had for Thanksgiving this year. So shout out to him because it was really good.
Hey.
Yeah. Okay. Curious to see you on this one. Unpopular opinion. There's no such thing as soulmates. I would love to hear your commentary first.
I agree. Only in the sense of I've been with, like, of course we're married. So, but I've also been with others who are like at a time when I was young and naive. I'm like, oh, this person could be my soulmate kind of thing. Or like, but on the flip side, I've never been in a relationship that didn't require work and that didn't require change on one side or the other. So I feel like in my mind, a soulmate is somebody that you get with and it just works. You're exactly what they were looking for, and they're exactly what you were looking for. There's nothing to change. There's nothing to work through. Like, it's almost like a perfect relationship. Not saying that you might not face any adversity, but I feel like if you get with somebody and within the first few months, like there is some sort of pivotal moment where you have to work through it or grow as a couple or relationship, then technically that's not a soulmate. You know what I'm saying? That's the person that you choose to love. You know what I'm saying? And that you choose to love no matter what. So I personally don't believe that soulmates exist. I do believe that soul ties exist. Like, you can meet somebody and align with them so strongly that it's like you're just always kind of like a part of each other. Yeah, kind of like that. But soulmates is kind of hard. Like, I don't think that there's one magical, perfect person for everybody. I just think that there's.
See,
it's hard.
Hard. I don't know. I see it from both sides, but hear me out a little bit. So I don't agree, and I kind of do think that there are soulmates for people. The reason I say this is because soulmates don't also always have to be romantic. Obviously, in the way that we talk about it, we always talk about soulmates romantically, like you're my soulmate kind of thing.
Yeah.
But if you really think about it, being a soulmate is like basically your energies and a lot of what you kind of have are about you, but especially like kind of your energy, your spirituality, like the way you go about things is very, very similar. And so, yes, this can definitely go romantically as well, but like, and relationships do take work, but you don't have to be in a relationship with your soulmate. But it could still be that your soulmate.
So it's almost in a sense of like your best friend was literally made to be the person that you go through life with. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just not romantic at all, but it's like we were meant to go through life together. Yeah. We were meant to find each other.
Well, and honestly, too, I'm not going to lie, like, even in a romantic way, I have viewed us almost as soulmates because if we really break it down without getting too deep into it, like, you and I came from polar opposites, and we have a lot of different, not even views, like, we have a lot of the same energy in kind of what goes into being a soulmate, and we have a lot of the same kind of value in that. And even spiritually, like we align, you know what I'm saying? Like our energy, our spirituality, like a lot of that is very much aligning. But the other factors, kind of more, I don't want to say more shallow, but more shallow factors of we have two totally different, not totally different, but different upbringings and from different areas. And like we had a lot of it going against us. But the fact that we came together and right off the bat immediately harmonized so much on the things that mattered, and it's like the energy was there. I can't help but think there's got to be some truth to it. You know what I mean?
No, that's true too. And like even in like with our story, we didn't like start dating almost immediately. Like, but we just once we found each other and we're a part of each other's life, like we were just there. A part of each other's life. We wanted to be there in each other's important moments, and then that turned into always wanting to be around each other, and then like and then of course now it is what it is today. So I 100% agree with that. You changed my perspective on that. I think like in that sense, soulmates do exist, and I honestly would view like my family because I think about this all the time. Like, I don't know if anybody else has, but have you ever just sat down and imagined what you would be like if you grew up in another family, like or in a family that's different than your own? And I honestly cannot see myself growing up in any other family dynamic than the one that I had.
Right.
So in that sense, like when you said that to me, it really brought me back to you and like just family. Like I feel like you, my brothers, my mom, my dad, like they are my soulmates. They're my soul people. We were meant to be in each other's lives in this way and in this dynamic.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I like that one. That was good.
Yeah. And I also want to touch on that too. It's like, yes, relationships take work, and I think that that's why people think that soulmates don't exist. It's because it's like, well, if you're soulmates, then none of it, but takes work or whatever. But it's like you can still have a soulmate, but again, for a romantic relationship to work or something to work, like in terms of a long-term friendship or partnership, it's gonna take work no matter what, whether you're soulmates or not. Even the twins, okay, that are best friends, love each other, like can't spend a day without each other, attached at the hip type. And I'm not saying all twins are like that, but I do know some, and they say they feel like they have like almost like a connection with their twin, like that they're like mentally have a connection. It's like a whole thing. Anyway, moving on. They have even, you know what I'm saying, like they take work on their relationship and stuff. It's like anything long term will take time, especially if you're growing. That's my thought. All right, last unpopular opinion of the day. And right now it's going to be the juiciest. So if you made it this far, you about to get it. Unpopular opinion.
What we got?
The halftime show, i.e. Kendrick Lamar's halftime, was boring at the Super Bowl. I would love to... Mine is short and sweet. Do you mind if I go first on this one again?
Go ahead.
Mine is short and sweet, guys. So, number one, hip-hop and rap are two different things. Let's get that out of the way. Kendrick Lamar rapped. Great. I respect what he did up there. I respect that he had a message to give. None of that was a problem for me. Great. Loved it. I agree. I thought it was boring. And before y'all want to try and cancel me, I watched the Super Bowl for entertainment, okay? Athletics, when you watch it, is entertainment. When you put on a concert, that is a form of entertainment, okay? So yes, I did watch the Super Bowl. Yes, I was expecting something more hyped and more entertaining. So I personally actually did think it was boring. Nothing against Kendrick, nothing against his message. Totally, he did his thing, whatever. I'm not a big rap person. Like, I like rap, but I'm more of a hip-hop person because I like the more hype beats and track that comes with it. For me, rap can be a little bit too chill, you know what I mean? And so, that being said, that wraps up my opinion. I don't care that he had it was great, whatever. Don't care that he did a message. Don't care that, people were like, oh, how could you think it was boring when he did all this and that? He didn't do all this and that. The message was great, but I wasn't watching the Super Bowl for a message. I was watching to just watch for entertainment, and I thought it was boring. I thought that visually there was a lot more dynamics that could have happened, but I respect it though, because I guess for his message that he was putting out, dynamics wouldn't have really been, good or constructive for his message. But I'm allowed to think it's boring, and I fully 100% agree that it was a boring halftime show. I think we even touched on this earlier today. Usher last year, okay? That man was dancing on roller skates, did all of his hits, 20 freaking songs, blew it out of the park, and he's a singer. But I expected that, because it's Usher. So, I guess I could expect it to not be as good, but, I thought it was boring, and I'm very entitled to that opinion, because I have nothing against what he did, and I think for his craft, it was great, but I thought it was boring.
All right. I will say this, and I feel like I'm going to do the opposite of what people have been doing on social media and on the timeline, and I'm not going to condemn you for your opinion, because you have 100% a right to feel the way that you feel, whether it is agreeing with me or disagreeing, and I can see that from your perspective.
And real quick, PSA, I just want to say, if you loved it, good, man. Good for you. I'm so glad you loved it. I'm not saying you're wrong for thinking it wasn't boring. I just want to put that out there because honestly, again, I just come from the point of I have my opinions and I know that it can be very strong. So you do you have your opinion. I'm not bashing you for yours. I'm just thinking for my opinion it was boring, but I don't care that you liked it or loved it or thought it was entertaining. I'm just saying I thought it personally was boring. Okay, keep going.
So I have a couple of perspectives on this. I'm going to try to rein it in, keep it nice and short. From someone who regularly makes beats, also, I do music on the side. I haven't released anything yet, coming soon. But for someone who's been in love with rap since an 8-year-old, and I'm not even just gonna say it's rap. I've been in love with music since I was young, and so I try to expose myself to as many different genres and as many different frameworks as possible. to understand. You know what I'm saying? To understand it, because I love music that much. I want to understand how you created it and what went into making it. With the year and the run that Kendrick has been on, my first point is I really respect him as an MC. I respect his grind, where he came from, and I respect that regardless of how you feel and regardless of what you think or what side you might be on, he's going to stand on 10 toes for what he feels and what he believes in. And I feel like any human being, any man, not even just a man, but any human being that has grinded for something and that has had a very strong opinion and that, you know, will stand up. If you don't stand for anything, you'll fall for anything. Yeah, so I really do respect him for standing on business. I 100% agree with you that for years, what the Super Bowl halftime show has been known as is a big moment to be entertained.
Extra
musically.
Dramatic.
Extra on the performances. I mean, you got Beyonce with the lights going out. You got Usher on roller skates.
You got Riri on the platform.
It's normally like a huge performance event. So I definitely can understand people who are saying that they didn't like it or they thought it was. I can understand how you got to that point, because the type of show that you would normally expect from like a halftime
is not chill.
It wasn't what you got. You know what I'm saying? Now, all the songs were not super chill. Like Humble has a very upbeat squabble up, very upbeat, not like us, very upbeat. It's on that West Coast vibe, so it's a chill upbeat.
Yeah.
But it does have that upbeat filter. So I feel like he did a good job of trying to mix in songs from him that would be entertaining. Because let's be honest, Kendrick he's a poet when it comes to how he does his music. So he could have easily given us this he has tons of songs where he could have went into this very long monologue of this deep stuff. But he tried to keep the message entertaining, but also put the message out. So I respect how he laid it out and what he did. And again, I do agree with people that compared to what we're used to seeing, and again, Usher went last year, and I mean, it's hard to follow that up. Like, I mean, and Usher's like generational. I mean, he's been an artist and a celebrity since the time he was like a young boy. So like, he has so many more like hits that are tangible and approachable that you can remember when I was a kid and I heard this song, or I remember when Usher was doing this thing. So I feel like Kendrick, as far as like a star, he doesn't have that like that big worldwide. So it's hard for a lot of people who haven't been just tuning into his stuff and know who he is and what he's about to get into it. So I think it's less of I think more people are trying to turn it into like you just don't like seeing black people on stage dancing with the hair, and you don't like this type of music, you don't like the chains, you don't like who we are. I think it's less and some people that could be their reasoning. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to put everybody in one category. There are some not good people out there. But I think it's more so just people just didn't know how to take it when they're used to one thing, and then like now it becomes this political message. And then it's just hard to digest, especially if you aren't paying super close attention. But I love the Serena Williams moment. I love the Samuel L. Jackson moment. I love the SZA moment in it. I thought for the message after, I mean, again, I had to go back and look at it again and like read other people's perspective, something that I might have missed. Right. But I think I got everything from watching it that he was trying to, that people were thinking he was trying to portray. I think I got it all, you know what I'm saying, from watching it. And I thought it was very well done. But again, my main point in all of this, and the reason why I honestly, normally I shy away from very polarizing conversations, because I feel like everything is being used to point the finger and to separate us. Guys, we have to stop doing that. Like, it is okay for somebody to have an opinion that is opposite of yours, and it does not have to be 100% always like a us against them or me against them because you don't have the same opinion that I have. Like,
it's okay to find a middle ground.
Right, and it's okay to say, hey, I 100% disagree with what you said, but I respect what you said and how you feel. And you had reasonings for how you feel. And like, agree to disagree. Mm-hmm. And again, that keeps humanity so that we can keep having these type of conversations. Yeah. Like, if I was with a group of people, regardless of race, and they said they hated the show, then that would make me want, all right, well, let's talk about it, guys. Like, what did you not get? Right. And then I would explain it. And if you still just didn't like it after that, okay, it's your opinion. You didn't like it, but this is the message.
Even if you got it, you know what I'm saying? Like, I especially, like, everyone's been posting about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, can we also talk about, too, like, I got it, I just still thought it was boring. Like, I'm allowed to say that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, if you think about it in comparison,
it might not be my taste, you know?
Like, I had the same layout this year for Super Bowl as I had last year. I was at home doing my own thing on my couch watching the game. Last year, I'm watching the game, and Usher came out. I'm up like, I'm singing all the songs.
I do actually remember that.
I'm reminiscing. My mom FaceTime me and my mom jamming on FaceTime to the halftime show, singing the songs together. It brought me and my mama close together. My brothers. The last time that happened was when I was living home and Bruno Mars performed at halftime. And it had me and my brothers and all my mom in the living room dancing and jamming out. We was doing it through the phone. So compared to that, it didn't give me that. You know, I was sitting here like, me and my brother was on the phone. I'm sitting here, me and him both talking about it back and forth. Oh, he trolling. Oh. That's a bad little man. Like, he don't care about nothing. Like, and I'm gonna tell you, I'm a Drake fan. I've been a Drake fan. He was the biggest hip hop and rap artist when I was growing up. Still like his music. You know what I'm saying? Now, you know, all the allegations and all that stuff is thrown out there. But again, I ain't no D-Rider, and I ain't just gonna stop listening to what I've been listening to because all of a sudden you pick somebody that you want to be mad at. But at the end of the day, like, I can respect both artists for who they are and what they did for the game. And I respect everybody for their opinions, either for or against either party. But at the end of the day, y'all, we have got to stop letting everything push us apart and start finding common ground in conversations and just having fun conversations with people. Everything don't have to be so deep. Like, it does not have to be that deep. And I know that sometimes things are, and there are a lot of things in this society that I do not disagree with, and I stand with my people 100%. But at the end of the day, bro, I'm about togetherness. Like, I don't pick and choose who I hang with based off race or viewpoints or anything like that. We're all human. You know what I'm saying? To a certain extent, I do the best that I can. Now, if it's somebody I don't like, I don't have to talk trash to them. I just know how to distance myself from you, baby, and just go in with the other crowd or just stay with myself. But that's it. That's my point on that. I thought it was very well done. I understand some people's perspective with it not being super entertaining.
And I thought it was boring, but respected.
But respect to the man, you know what I'm saying? Kendrick, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to him.
Shout out to everyone that was a part of it.
To everybody who's a part of it. And, like, shout out to y'all, like, for witnessing it, if you witnessed that. And Eagles, fly.
Right. We are happy the Eagles won. Sorry,
yeah, that was a good game. Defense.
That was a good one. But anyway, so that's it for our unpopular opinions today. Thank you so much for joining us, and we hope that you had a stance that you were very passionate about as well. And if you did, please feel free to let us know which unpopular opinion you either agreed with or really disagreed with, and maybe why. Or if there's something that you didn't like that we said or that you loved that we said, please let us know. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the unpopular opinions and not hot takes. But with that being said, I think that's it for today. So, as per usual, if you enjoyed this episode, please give us a follow, a subscribe, hit the thumbs up, like posts, engage, all of that jazz, comment, DM, everything.
Yes.
We would love your support and getting out there. And again, if you have any stories that you want us to either just share on the podcast or that you would love for us to comment on, please go ahead and send those in. And then lastly, all we have left to say is thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
On
Let Me Holla at You.